no laziness here as we get ready for Mandela Day, which of course, as we all know, is an annual global celebration that takes place on the 18th of July to honor the life and legacy of Nelson Mandela. It is a day where each one of us as South Africans are encouraged to make a difference in our communities and the lives of others for at least 67 minutes. You can do more than that, but we're asking for just 67 minutes. And that's what we'll be doing as we broadcast live from Philisa, Abafazi, Bethu. This is happening at 20 Sullivan Road in Steenberg on Tuesday, the 18th of July. Here to tell us more is the founder of Philisa, Abafazi, Bethu, Lucinda Evans. Welcome to Good Up FM. How are you?
Good morning.
So good to be able to see you here again.
Thank you for the invitation.
Oh, it is always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Are you well?
I'm good after my traffic little panic coming into town.
Oh my goodness. Listen. Traffic is always going to be a challenge, but you're here safe and sound.
Yes. It's the parking that's a bit of a nightmare.
I know.
So, Leanne, I just want to correct the address also.
Yes, please do.
So our small gate is in 20 Sullivan Street, but we would like everybody to come in at 55 Strauss.
55 Strauss. We're going to make a note of that.
So that is the big gates which faces the back of the Sullivan Primary School, and that will be entry-exit gate for the event.
Fantastic. Before we talk about the event, which we're so excited, because Sandra and myself and Delucia, we were just doing a little promo for the interwebs just now. Let's talk about Philisa, Abafazi, Bethu. Can you tell us more about the organization?
Well, I started the project 15 years ago in my dining room, in my family home.
Wow.
And the project has been for 9 years and 2 weeks and 5 days in that very dining room. And we provide services for women with their children, and now including families that are victims of gender-based violence. And I also do a child protection program under the umbrella of gender-based violence. I also run a senior citizen club. And in my club, you come to live, you don't come to die.
Yeah.
And so it's vibrant, it's lekker, if I get it right, I'm even going to do speed dating for single seniors. So we know currently what the situation is in our country around gender-based violence, still shocking.
Yeah.
We still hear of, for an example, last week, Ivor Chinnet Street in Kafta, alleged 64-year-old perpetrator was released on bail back in the community.
Wow.
And we are still shocked that we find that in Paarl, at the moment, there's a case of a perpetrator that has been released on bail, and he came back and he raped the same child victim again.
No.
And so in our center that is in Steenberg, we have two important things that we do. First is that we still advocate for services in protection of all our bodies. When I speak about all our bodies, I speak about women with their children, including the LGBTQIA plus community.
Yeah.
It is still shocking how the criminal justice system would put these alleged perpetrators out amongst us. And I know across the province, we are all speaking about the possible parole of the station strangler. And so many people have sent me the messages yesterday to say, what must we do?
Yeah.
Gender-based violence is still one of the most, and this is my opinion, and I want to say to the listeners, it is a human rights violation.
Yes.
Number one, this is my opinion, as Lucinda Evans, and I call myself a human rights defender. I feel that we should have taken the South African government to the Constitutional Court for failing the fiduciary responsibility to keep all bodies in this country safe.
Yes.
And as much as what we want to romanticize about what 2024 will look like in the upcoming elections, I want to say to all those aspirant politicians, what have you been doing in the last 30 years to ensure that we don't have horrific rape stats as what it is at the moment?
Yeah.
And when there are stats given like 42,000 women reported rape in 1 year, we should be ashamed as a country because we also understand only 1 in 9 women report rape.
Sure.
And so within Philisa, Abafazi, Bethu, and the English translation means heal our women.
Wow.
Our little center on the Cape Flats is a center that brings lavender back to the hills. It is also a center where we work with women with their children, senior citizens, young people, and broader communities, and we want just to bring hope. I'm sitting opposite your banner that says Good Hope FM.
Yeah.
And so I want to say that my life's work is about bringing peace in home and peace in families and hope in communities.
Yeah.
And so our 67 minutes that has been 15 years of work is that, you know, we want to live in a country which is free of violence.
Yeah.
It is still, you know, it's sad. It is completely sad that we have a constitution that it promises safety for all, but safety for whom? If the sun goes down, can you and I feel free on a train, a bus, an Uber? Can we walk in our mini skirt with our toes or our legs or our breasts bare? You know, the women are attacked everywhere in this country. And so again, my life's work and my dedication in the space where I work is to bring the hope and to still continue for advocacy. But we have to keep those that are responsible to ensure that you and I and everybody else feel safe is accountable.
Yeah.
And we should stop feeling, you know, we owe somebody something just because of an event that happened. No. There are people in positions that need to take responsibility for failing us. And so, you know, 67 minutes for Mandela for us, it's an event that when we were able to build our family center from shipping containers. When you come to us, you'll see life.
Sure.
You'll feel us before you see us. We are color and we are vibrant, and because I work in a very difficult space.
Yeah.
And so I would like, if it's okay, I would like to take a pause and I would like to give a shout out to my team.
Please do.
They are the backbone of that organization. My entire team, including the protectors. But then I also want to give a special shout out to the community that still believes in our work, in our service. And so we are in service to God's people. We are in service to each other.
Yeah.
And so our 67 minutes for Mandela this year should be in service, listeners of Good Hope.
Yeah.
And so when you guys come and you are welcome in our space, it is about, and my plea today is, in my center we need a little bit of help. Although we're going to cook for the broader community, I hope there's a couple of plumbers that will come. We have a few leaks. We need some people that is willing to paint. Please bring your own paint and your brushes.
Bring your paint and your brushes.
Colorful ones. We've got some stones
nice
that needs to be painted. We have a beautiful, beautiful garden, a Madela stone garden. We actually have 2 that people can come and work in the garden. And then to come wash our windows and come give us a little bit of love in action.
Yeah.
We've got lots of grass to be cut. But I think the one big thing is I want to raise 1,500 cupcakes. Now, I don't want just any cupcakes. I'm very picky. I'm known that I'm sometimes my behavior's been classified as sometimes that other word, but it's okay. The listeners are here. I don't want cupcakes that are bland. The diabetic doctor must be angry with me on the 19th of July. So beautiful cupcake that we could, when we do the food for the community, that we can issue out, just that feel good feeling. And so I accept cupcakes as a donation, but also volunteers that would like to come and be of service in our bigger center, but also our emergency safe house that we have.
So we're calling on quite a few people. We're calling on plumbers, painters, bakers, anyone who wants to be of service. And I think that this is a wonderful opportunity. Like we said, this is a day where you are required to, not even just encouraged, required to give even just 67 minutes of your time to uplift the communities around you that need it most. And we are going to be at Philisa, Abafazi, Bethu, giving our 67 minutes and actually beyond as well, in terms of what is happening on the day.
So what is happening on the day is, so we are looking for volunteers that could be in service and off service to the center. And so we've got quite a lot of windows that needs to be washed, grass to be cut. And then we are looking for two teams that would help us to cook.
Yeah.
So our idea is that we would also like to feed 2,000 people. And if people want to donate chicken and vegetables, we will lovingly take that from you as your loving action on the 17th. And I have my amazing senior citizens that's going to come and prep it at 7 a.m. in the morning.
Sure.
And in our Senior Citizens Club, I started on a Friday called G2G. Letter G, number 2, and letter G. It's a get-together. Now, at this G2G, we're jamming.
Nice.
We're hanging loose. Cell phones is gone. We have musicians that come and play little music for us.
I love that.
But it is... Working with senior citizens is to combat loneliness.
Yeah.
And so within the G2G, we just hang out and we just have fun. I'm also collecting board games for senior citizens.
Awesome.
So if you have a pre-love board game that you want to donate, knitting needles and wool for our G2Gs, I will lovingly take that from you too, because once every 2 months we come together and then we are 300 seniors in a hall.
Yeah.
And our next event is actually in Women's Month, and then I would want to have all of these games. On 67 minutes, our seniors will be prepping for us. And I'm sure there'll be a team from Good Hope that will help us cook.
Of course, we're going to be there. We're all aspiring home cooks, all of us. Yes, but before we continue, I just want to ask you if anybody wants to get involved, because we're getting a few people on the WhatsApp line saying, how do we get involved? How do we contact you? Lucinda, can you give us a contact number?
Sure. So we have a formal volunteer form, because the listeners also should understand that within the framework of where we work, as a gender-based violence organization, everybody has to register. And so they need to fill in a little volunteer form. And our contact number is 081 746 9889. And they can call the office. We can WhatsApp them an application form. We can email them an application form. And we would like these forms back by Monday, the 17th, for the very latest 4 p.m. And then all volunteers need to report for duty from 8 a.m. till 3:30. So whenever you want to do your 67 minutes, that's the time frame.
Awesome.
We already have a group, and they are the Youngs Field Medics that would do the duty at our emergency safe house. And so we've already deployed a team there. But the rest of the volunteers would come and work at the operations office, our main office. And at 12:30, we are planning to serve. So we have 3 spots where we will be taking the food. The one would be serving from the center itself. The second point is on the corners of the M5 and Dennis Road. It's on a field, and opposite the field as a landmark would be Romani shop. And that's our other point. And then the third one would be in Sea Winds in Lavender Hill. Then we also doing 3 aged homes. So one is Mandelin's Place. And so we'll get a group to go to Mandelin's Place. We'll get a group to go to Village Care Center and a group to go to Douglas Murray. And then after you've served, we want to get all the volunteers back because we want to say thank you. And
that's awesome.
For the listeners, COVID-19 brought all of us to a complete standstill. And we had to take introspective of what does it mean to take care of your neighbor. 67 minutes for Mandela yearly is about doing the same. But I want to put it out there, love in action doesn't need to have a specific day. That love in action for me as a human rights defender is to report gender-based violence. It's to report child abuse. It's to report that uncle in the family that you know that have touched every little single girl in the family, or the grandfather or the father, to report. Because we are still sitting with shocking stats and underreported. And I know it is difficult for families. They would opt to throw the lesbian daughter or the gay son out of the home. But we still fail as families to report that very uncle or opa or dad that's still touching the young girls. And a typical example is now currently what we're dealing with in the CAVDA in many other communities. That we feel pity on the 64-year-old disgusting old man that's doing horrible things to children. And so that should be our love in action as a country, as communities, and as families. And so thank you, Good Hope. I'm looking at Hope for giving us also the opportunity to speak to the broader community beyond Steenberg.
And that is what we're doing, and that is why we are calling on everyone to come through and of course join us at Philisa Abafazi Bethu on Tuesday the 18th of July, which is Mandela Day. We are broadcasting live the morning show, Sandra, Delucia and myself, as we celebrate Mandela Day. And even beyond that, it is an iconic day in South African history, but it is an opportunity for us to continue to do good work and to bring hope. So let's join hands. Come and spend your 67 minutes with us as each one helps one, and let's celebrate a commitment to human rights and support those in need. Like we said, join us at Philisa Abafazi Bethu and do your bit to help where you can.
Feel it. For more, tune in to goodhopefm.co.za.
It's all you need.